Now, before we get into building too many more components of our web application, it's a good idea to stop and think a little bit about the style of your web application. Most web applications and websites these days use what's called cascading style sheets, CSS, to help control the look, the feel, the colors, the warmth, the cold, the industrial look, or the soft look, whatever, of your web application. And you want to do that fairly early on because the arrangement of the components and the containers and the tabs and the fields and the other objects in your components, whether they be grids or dialogues, you probably want to take into consideration a little bit some of the overall look of your web application. Now, I'm no styling expert, so what I can do is point you in the right direction with this. But Alpha's tools make this a little bit easier to achieve some good stuff. So we'll start with the customer grid that we already have here. Let's put this back into design mode and remind ourselves here that in the properties we can go pick the style. And we can pick a style of gradient blue or gray or olive, that sort of thing. Or we can also use a project style, which is new to version 11. And once you've selected any one style, this is persistent throughout your project, so you don't have to keep going back and reassigning it. And I picked project style because if we want to change the style, then we can just change it one place, which is at the project level. So let's take a look at where we can do that here. We'll go ahead and save this grid. And we'll come up to project properties. And you can see our project style right now is gradient gray, and we can pick any of those styles that we want to as well. So let's just change it to gradient blue. And now all the grids in this property, in this project as they're published, will assume and use the gradient blue project style cascading style sheet. But one of the things that I've discovered after all this practice is that you may start with something that you think will fit everyone's wants, needs, and desires, and someone will come along and say, yeah, but could you do this or could you do that? And it'd be really look nice if you did something over here. So the net result is that you are almost always going to end up or want to end up with a custom style sheet. So it's good early on to go ahead and establish that custom style sheet and be thinking about what that's going to do in the overall look and layout and feel of your components as you build them. So let's take a minute and we'll use one of the great new features in Alpha 5 version 11 to build your web styles. There's a new web style builder. It's available and you can launch it in several different places, but they put the icon right here on the web projects control panel, so we'll use that for starters. And this doesn't all fit very well into the small window I have for my recording, so I apologize for the bit of navigation here. And you can go through all the buttons and see what's here. If you want to start getting into the style builder here, I will strongly encourage you to spend some time to watch the videos about this. There's an extensive set of videos on using this new style builder. And they're put together by Evan Chambliss, who is the author of all this new tool here. He's done a very detailed set of videos and instructions about how to use these. So, as I said, there's several options here that we can use, but let's start by just making a new copy of an existing style. So we'll select that, and let's say we want gradient blue, and we'll go ahead and call this GR Blue, but let's call it GR Blue TT for total training. And this can be a local copy, which is local just to this application, or it could be a global copy in case you wanted to use the same style other places. There are other ways to port this later on if you decide that you like it and want to use it in other places. But this is an opportunity for you to make that decision right now if you'd like. So we'll create the copy. And it does a little bit of work, of course. It does a lot of work, actually. And again, I'll leave you to the videos to understand about how to use a lot of the parts that are here. But the result is that we have a really nice set of tools now to build all the various features that we want for our style. And you can add lots of parts. For those who are coders with styles, here's all your code, and you can go directly to this if you'd like to. But the design tools are extensive here. And they give you the things that you need not only for the general parts, but I'll have to scroll way over here. Boy, this shoots well outside of my recording window here. I think I'll have to leave, because this is going so far outside the recording window, I'm going to have to leave some of this to you here, but here's a good way. We can look at, say, the pane controls, or the grid controls, or the dialog controls. You can see all the various style parts that are available for this, and that you can modify any of these parts that you want to, and edit them, copy their appearance, sort of thing. So what I basically want to point out is go ahead and use this, create your own style, and then get it started. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and close this, and all these parts close. So then we'll come to the project properties now, and instead of the gradient blue, we will pick from our local style the gradient blue TT for total training. And that will be our project style that we can come back time and time again and adjust as we need to. One of the things I'll point out is we have a new folder now in our window here, and that is our CSS folder. And if we look in the CSS, we have our new style here, the gradient blue total training. And if we go to all files here, you can see that there are just a lot of images, and all these images, because they are gradient images, can be managed with the style builder to give you all the colors, hues, luminescence that you want, and build just exactly the look of the website that you're looking for. While we're here, I'll save everybody some time. Should you find yourself having drilled down into one of these file structures, the way to get back out of it, because if we go here or here, we don't see our files. You need to use this little yellow folder here to navigate back up the tree. And then you can find your web components again, and you're up at the top of the tree. So now we have our style selected, and just to recap, then we've built a custom style. We have made that our project style, assuming that you want all of your components to have the same style, which is pretty typical in a web application. Of course, you can go to any one component and specifically assign some other style if you want to at this point. It doesn't stop you from doing that. And then within each component, then we will be assigning the default project style, and Alpha will default to this now for us as we build further grids. I think that takes care of our basic introduction to the styles that's in Alpha, and I wish you luck in exploring the possibilities with this, because there are just some really tremendous new tools in version 11 to work with these.